Okay, I want to talk a little bit about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It's not going to be a review, but it is going to contain spoilers because I want to talk about one character in particular, which is Lobo. I feel like if he entirely is like a homage to Sergio Leone type of films, so not just what he wore, but also the idea of his entrance being this iconic whistle. Um, I feel like if it's just so much callbacks to those classic spaghetti western films. I also want to talk about there's this moment in the film where Puss and Lobo are fighting, and Lobo blocks Puss's attack with his sickle, and basically you get like Puss's reflection. You see both Puss's eyes within the sickles, and they do that second time coming down to the ending when it says Puss gets the upper hand on Lobo. This time is in the opposite. Instead, it's being Lobo reflection within the sickle, and I love it whenever directors do stuff like that within their film because it kind of has these two conversations. One being that the audience member could feel comfortable within the hands of the director because you know that this director is layering the language within the film itself. So you know that it's not just this cannon fodder of visuals, but it's more this very thought out and very detailed sort of storytelling. And then the other point too is that the director is kind of treating the audience member as if the audience member is mature and is one that either the audience member is watching the film over a second time or one that the audience member is paying attention to the little details of the visuals. So I feel like if it's a kind of marriage of both the audience member and the director kind of thing. And I love that type of storytelling. There was this moment where in the first time that Puss meets Lobo and Puss becomes fearful and he runs away from the fight. He runs inside the bathroom and he closes the door. And basically Lobo is slowly traipsing behind him. And then eventually his shadow seeps through the crevice of the door. And you see basically the outline of Lobo's shadow ahead of Puss. And I've seen that visual recently as well in X Files. It was in season 2, episode 23, and the name of the episode was Soft Light. And I actually wonder if they, again, if this was homage to that episode or if they just organically did this because this idea of a visual eclipsing a protagonist is like it's been done before, but I think it's a very cool visual in terms of how it's approached. Because what happens here in this moment is that this villain in particular, Lobo, he transcends now being this physical bounty hunter. He transcends now into this spiritual conversation. And I really love that type of narrative. And I love the way and how they portrayed it.
And I don't mean it metaphorically or rhetorically or poetically or theoretically or in any other fancy way. I'm death, straight up.